We're here with Zach and Terry. Zach is a TMJ patient of mine. He's been suffering for about 2 years from TMJ, and I'm going to let Zach tell you his story, how everything started, what he has done, and what he has been through. Zach?
Well, hindsight is 20/20, and I can think of my first symptoms starting my junior year in high school with my jaw locking up. It wasn't painful, just annoying, and I would occasionally mess with it when it was bothering me or distracting me, but I never thought it would get worse. My senior year in high school, I started experiencing a little more discomfort, and I saw a doctor for it, and he made me a splint. And I also started taking ibuprofen every day to counteract the headache, which I was suffering from, but I never connected the two together. So I just thought I just had a lot of headaches all the time. Then I definitely started noticing changes in my social life and how I behaved with friends. I never really noticed it at first until I had a girlfriend at the time who we just started not really enjoying each other as much, and I started not enjoying my schoolwork as much, and I just felt depressed, and I didn't know why. And it was a very, very strange time in my life because I felt so discouraged with everything, and I didn't know why. And then I told my mom, my jaw is bothering me. And that was the first step of why I figured out why I was so depressed. And it was pretty eye-opening because I never thought pain would affect my life in that way. So going down this road was very different than what I expected at this time in my life. And for a while I really thought I was going to be in pain for the rest of my life, and I had a very hard time imagining what that was going to be like, and I felt extremely hopeless. But now I don't feel that way anymore, and the improvements I've made since getting the orthotic with Dr. Mehregan have been amazing, and I feel like I'm getting my life back, which is amazing too. But
Without mentioning any names, can you tell us about your past treatments and how they were affecting you?
yes, and it also has to do with my lack of education about TMJ. When I got the splint, I had the impression that this was going to fix everything. And every 2 weeks I would go in and get it adjusted. And every time I went in, I was really thinking, okay, this is going to be the time it's going to get it right. And I just would keep going in every 2 weeks, and they didn't want to give me any medication. It was just ibuprofen, higher and higher dosages every time. And I never really understood the whole situation I was in and how bad it was going to get. And in hindsight, there were all the signs were there in junior year in high school, but I wasn't educated, and how could I have been, since TMJ was such a foreign thing to me at the time. But after seeing this particular doctor for about a year and a half, 2 years, after getting the splint remolded after it broke, I really wasn't seeing any progress, so I was referred to a doctor in the same location who wanted me to go without the splint for a few months to stabilize, and I got my second splint made, and I started getting prescribed opiates for pain. That was a big improvement at first because I was no longer in extreme pain all the time, but also being dependent on that medication really changed me, and also I was unaware of that at first. And then I didn't really see any improvements for the next 2 years. I kept seeing him about once a month, and nothing was really changing. And I eventually accepted the fact that this is my life now. TMJ is going to control my life for the remainder, and I just have to accept it, and I try to.
What I want you to elaborate on, Zach, is that a lot of TMJ patients think that Botox is the answer to TMJ treatment. Tell us about your Botox experience.
Well, before the Botox, I was suffering from muscle pain all the time. The only solution was sleep and laying down on my back with my neck supported. I was just controlled by muscle pain all the time. So I thought, when I heard Botox, it sounded like the perfect solution for me because muscle pain was really the only major problem after I started taking endomedicine and hydrocodone or oxycodone for all that pain. So I thought, getting the muscle pain under control with all the other medication, I would start being able to proceed with my life. But the Botox wasn't a huge improvement. I was able to reduce some of my medication and just be able to be up longer, but the improvement really wasn't that much, and I told myself more visits will improve, but it really didn't do much after maybe like the third time. I didn't really notice any difference, except for just the weird sensation it gives. So absolutely not. It's definitely not. It's not treating the root cause, so it won't really do anything. And it's just like a band-aid for something that isn't really needed.
Can you elaborate on how important it is or the effect that a misaligned jaw can have on your neck posture, and after getting it adjusted with an AO chiropractor, how did it change your posture and your well-being?
Something you don't really notice. Well, at least I didn't. I didn't notice how my upper body strength decreased significantly over this time period. And when I was able to get the orthotic in, it was a big eye-opener, like, wow, I feel aligned again. But neck pain was something that I suffered from for the whole duration, and I still am a little bit, but it's getting so much better. Having all that tension in your neck and shoulders all the time just makes you feel so more just tired and drained all the time. And because of that, I just wanted to lay down and go back to bed all the time. And doing stuff, being on the go, driving, always that tension would be there. And you just would eventually have this weird offset shoulder, and you just have a lot of pain and tension all the time, which just becomes a part of you as well. And all this pain just building up on itself really controls who you are and how you want to live your life.
So you would say that visiting an AO chiropractor is a very crucial and important part of the TMJ treatment.
Yes, but the orthotic has to come first, definitely. And I saw a chiropractor before, and I mean, before the orthotic, those changes would be nice, but it would not really be a permanent fix. Everything would just return back to where it was. So it all needs to be combined, this treatment, for it to be effective. And you can't do one thing and ignore the other. Yes, you have to do everything at once.
Terry,
Yes.
being a mom of a 20-year-old, that's when all it started.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your side of the story. How did it affect you as a mother, seeing your 20-year-old going through pain and rendering you helpless, not knowing what to do, how to get him out of pain, get his life back?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I'm probably like all the other parents. You take your kid to the orthodontist. You think that you're doing great. You have the orthodontist do the, he had his braces in 8th grade. Then he started having the cracking and popping in high school, and you go back to the orthodontist, and the dentist there did the splint for him. And you trust them. You think they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then it started getting worse, and when your kid gives you the call that they no longer want to live, and sorry if I start to cry, because this is hard. That was the hardest phone call I ever got, was to have my son say, "Mom, I don't know why, but I don't want to live anymore." So that's when I knew that we weren't dealing with just a simple thing. So then we started searching for more doctors, and we found, the oral facial pain specialist we went to. We had a consult with oral surgeon. We went to Mass General for the consult with the TMJ group down there, who sent us back to Vermont under the guidance of the oral facial pain specialist. And then, I spent my time taking my kid to the ER when he was in a lot of pain, trying to just help him feel better. You sit there and you talk. I mean, how many times do we sit in my car and just cry and have coffee because there's nothing to do? And have the medical profession, which I'm part of, treat your son, who is in so much pain, like he's a drug seeker. And it's like, here's a child who is in an incredible amount of pain and doesn't want to live. We went to the crisis center and had him, ready to be admitted there if he had a crisis. We had everything in place. So many parents, after joining the TMJ groups, and I see these kids whose parents don't believe them. And we had that. His dad at times would say, "Just go get a job, go back to school, everything will be better." And it's like, that is such a bunch of denial. These kids aren't going to be better. They're in a lot of pain. And I'm not really sure how to convey to the world how much pain this is. It's debilitating pain. It's not your regular, "Oh, I have a toothache." It's deep pain. Buying the right foods for my child, making sure that he's still alive. There are times, when they stay in their room and you just wonder, you have to knock on the door, "Are you okay?" So we did 2 years with this guy, giving Zach so many medications. So Zach, we had the orthodontist, we had the dentist at the orthodontist, we had the oral surgeon consult, we had the oral facial pain specialist, we had the TMJ group at Mass General. Zach went through an 11-week program for chronic pain. He has a psychiatrist, psychologist, he has a neurologist, and a regular doctor. So, right? And even through all this, when Zach was in high school still, before he got a grown-up doctor, his pediatrician even said, "You're using this as a crutch, Zach." How painful was that to hear from somebody who you trust, who has seen you since you were a baby? So to have the medical profession deny treatment for such a thing, I mean, and not treat it properly, I can't tell you the amount of rage it makes me feel that we have a medical profession who is so ignorant to how to treat TMJ. And we asked for referrals from the oral facial pain specialist, didn't get any. He said he was the only game in town. And after 2 years of Zach suffering on all the opiates and armloads of other medication, I said, okay, he kept telling us, you gotta get the pain under control before we can do anything. We gotta get the pain under control. So 2 years later, I said, okay, this is about as much as pain under control as you're gonna get with Zach. So what do we do now? And he said, welcome to my world of chronic pain. That I knew right then and there that we had been drugged along with this guy who didn't really know what he was doing. So I joined Facebook TMJ groups, and we learned about GNM and the orthotics and people who have gone this route. And of course we were skeptical because we've already, I mean, how many TMJ people have already seen so many doctors? Zach couldn't believe it. He didn't want to believe it. We got down here and Dr. Mehregan said, you know, well, it's pretty much a slam dunk. Zach was, and the look on Zach's face, he was afraid.
I didn't believe you, yeah.
No. So we came back for the orthotic, and it's been nothing short of a miracle, I think. I mean, Zach's been, the recovery process is long. It's not a, you know, you can't have your muscles be tortured like that for years and jump right back in. So he's still weaning off medications, but I wish it was more affordable. I wish insurance would cover it. I wish, there's so much, but I think this is a new treatment, and I think that people need to know that and stop having that 1950s treatment in the dentist office where they just make the splint on one plane. I mean, this takes into your whole body, your whole head. You live in a your head's a circle. It's not just a one plane thing.
One point you made, Terry, is that, which I think a lot of TMJ patients need to understand, is that it's not a one-night fix. And Zach, you can probably elaborate that. It's just like taking baby steps. You're awakening a giant, and a giant that has been asleep for a very, very long time. You can't expect to wake up next day and be totally pain-free. And as you know, it's baby steps. And every day you find out there's something else that has been eliminated, one of your symptoms. So, go ahead if you need to add something to this.
A lot of the improvements I don't notice right away until I realize, I don't need to take my headache medicine right now. I can take it later. Or just getting off the opiates, I thought it was going to be impossible or just incredibly hard, but how much less pain I'm in wearing the orthotic, or how I feel the pain coming back when I have to take it out or something. Like, it's just amazing how this treatment feels like I'm in the 21st century, but if I were to go back to my old doctor, I would feel like I'm in another century entirely. And that the way this splint was made compared to my old one is night and day. Instead of just taking soft mold in the dentist's office for 20 minutes and it's done, this actually requires a lot of little measurements, and that is a huge difference, especially when it comes to healing, the healing process. And I never thought I actually thought this was going to take longer than it has, and the improvements I've made in a short amount of time, it sometimes doesn't seem real, or just the idea that I'm getting better didn't hit me at first for a while. Like, I really had that ingrained in my head that TMJ is a part of me, and I still am almost fearing it, but now that it's getting better, I'm feeling like myself again, and I'm remembering interests that I haven't had in years, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think I would add that it's not only the healing of your physical body, it's your mind, because it's definitely changed Zach.
Yeah.
It's changed both of us. I think you're not who you were. Pain really does a number on somebody.
Absolutely.
And being in severe pain for over 2 years, I think it's sort of like PTSD. You have there's a whole lot to work out, you know, and I think both Zach and I, we feel angry that he was treated by, you know, a professional who you trust, and I can honestly say does not know what the hell he's doing.
And it isn't just one professional.
Yeah, exactly. It's
It's
everybody.
Group.
They treat TMJ like this whole nebulous, like, so they keep lumping on all the stuff to treat the symptoms, but never get to the solution of the problem. So I'm looking forward to Zach finding out his interests again, what he wants to do, because he left his school behind, I mean, 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago. It's a healing of everything.